everybody. I am Amy Bowman, and I am so delighted to have an opportunity with technology to bring some yoga to you in the privacy of your own home. I know for me, in times like this, it just feels like we need a little bit more grounding and a little bit more self-assurance. So I am super excited to have this opportunity to give you a connection, and even though we're separated by walls and miles and have to just go through a screen, I am delighted that we get to still connect on this level. You don't really need any props, you just need an open mind and a comfortable space. If you would like to pause the video and grab a strap that might be helpful for you with some leg extensions, a necktie, a belt, a thinner long towel, something to just grab behind the leg, feel free to do so, but it is not 100% necessary. So I invite you to find a seated posture of your choice and to close the eyes and just feel stillness for a moment. And not the kind of stillness that is keeping us at home or away from our everyday routine, but the stillness of just the body, feeling the breath, maybe the heartbeat. Trying to feel content with just being in one spot. Being content with knowing that you are safe. Content knowing that you are loved. And if you would like, I recommend that you consider putting that right hand on the belly and that left hand at heart center and just feel the self underneath those hands. Knowing that even though we have darkness in corners, we can come to the breath. We can come to our mat. We connect to our bodies, to our minds, and to our spirits. And that person under our hands, know that that person has so much love to not only offer, but to take it in the love for yourself. Taking these moments to bring that awareness inward and maybe discovering a little bit more about yourself along the way. Notice the rise and the fall of the body with each breath. Notice how the body feels. Notice what parts of the body are connected to the earth. And using that third eye space, visualizing, starting at the crown of your head, working down the body, the face, the neck, shoulders side to side, down the arms, all four sides of our torso, our heart space. From hip to hip and down each leg, into the soles of our feet. Noticing how we're feeling. Creating awareness of where we felt stuck. And when we have those areas in our body where we do feel that congestion or that dis-ease, just take a moment. Find the breath. And send the breath to those areas that need extra support. Let's start to think about increasing the depth of our breath. Hands can stay where they are, or they can rest where they're comfortable. Noticing how the breath feels in the body as you waken the body. We'll take a big inhale. And release out the mouth. Let's try that again. And release. And one more time. Biggest inhale. Maybe even holding that breath at the top. And exhale, let it go. Relaxing the hands onto our knees. Maybe rolling the shoulders up to the ears and then back towards the spine and around some more. Just keep feeling the openness through the heart, opening through the shoulders. If it feels good to release the hands and really open the arms and find big circles even through the arms. Listen to the body. It typically knows what we want. We just have to be intuitive enough and brave enough to listen, to surrender, to give what it's asking. I invite you to keep the eyes closed if that feels comfortable, and just feel the body connecting with the breath. Nice. So the next time your arms and your shoulders are down, just take a pause. Notice the sensations that you created through the shoulders. And then let's go in the opposite direction. So we'll draw the shoulder blades back and forward, and now finding our circles there, either with the arms or without, your choice. Notice if you're sinking in the spine, and see if you can lift through the spine, bringing the crown of the head up towards the sun. Two more rounds of breath with movement here. And then relaxing back down, the hands can rest at the knees, and just notice how the spine feels. Notice the shoulders waking up. Maybe the heart rate got a little faster. When you're ready, let's go ahead and release the hands behind our sit bones, releasing the feet to the edges of the mat. We'll lift through the heart by pressing the shoulders back towards the spine, and we'll windshield wiper gently the knees side to side. Aiming to linger where it feels good to do so. It might feel good to keep them back from one side to the other, stretching from the knee to the hip. Feeling the breath as it carries you through the pose. Then we're going to pause here, and you can keep the feet anchored into the earth if that feels good. You can extend them long, or you can bring them into an easy seat. But let's press into the hands, or even lifting through the fingertips like Spider-Man hands, and lifting through that heart, pulling those shoulders back. Taking a big inhale here, and then exhale, turning your head toward that right shoulder and just feeling the breath between the shoulders. Inhale, the chin back through center. As you exhale, the chin in the opposite direction. Still being mindful of opening through the heart, pulling and engaging those shoulders back to the spine. Your next inhale, one hand at a time, we'll reach for the knees. We'll bring our shoulders back to neutral, and we'll bring the soles of the feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana, and thinking about maybe the feet being far away, or if it's available to you, you can bring them closer together. Maybe even adjusting by lifting and creating some space for the flesh to move away from the sit bones, so you can feel anchored and balanced on both sides. Maybe you hold the feet open like a book as you lift through the heart, pulling those shoulders back down, and breathe and find space right here. And anytime you need a little extra release, you can breathe out the mouth to cleanse. Maybe it's soothing and comforting to call upon that Ujjayi breath, that soft ocean sound in the inner ear. On your next inhale, we're going to think about lengthening the spine, opening up, especially in that lumbar spine, so we're not sinking down into our low back. We'll lift, and then slowly start to push your heart and your throat forward, shins lifted. Maybe you release the hands and come forward with the hands, and it might even feel more interesting to widen the hands. And we find our breath here, and as you start to lengthen through the spine and the release starts to happen more for you in the hips, maybe you even bend at the elbows and draw that heart slightly forward, trying to release the shoulders left and right and breathing here. Noticing where you need to send your breath. And as other thoughts or distractions come into your mind or around you in your environment, recognize it and let it go. Come back to the body. Come back to focusing on the breath. Your next inhale will start to walk the spine up nice and slow. And then we will lengthen the legs long onto the mat. If it feels good and you have a pillow or a blanket nearby and you want to sit up on something a little higher just to give us some adjustment to the hips, feel free to do so. That might feel nice. And we're going to think about those toes drawing back. And we're going to think about that belly lifting. See if you can engage the legs by lifting those kneecaps, and maybe you even squeeze the glutes just to feel the activity and the strength that you have in your legs. And we breathe here, and maybe you place those hands near your hips and you draw those shoulders down if that feels good for you here. Coming into the staff pose, we pull those shoulders back. And again, finding breath as we open through the heart. One more round of breath. And then we'll go ahead and release, and we'll draw that left leg inward. Turn for you here. And then we're going to allow the knee to fall to the side, connecting that foot just gently, not actively, but gently to the inside of the right leg. Again, maybe you sit up just to find the balance onto the sit bones. And we think about those right toes staying lifted. And let's turn our bodies over that right leg, and we stay nice and tall here. And when we think about forward folds today, let's not think about leading with the crown of our head and our chin tucked. Let's hold our heads high, leading with our heart and our throat. We'll take a big inhale here, and then exhale, we're going to start walking down the leg. And if you opted to get a strap, it might feel good to hold the strap and pull yourself in this way. But just find that fold, taking yourself to where you're feeling the action through the hips. And you can breathe with just slight discomfort. That's how we know we're working. We're finding space. We're softening. And each time we exhale, we think about the heart starting to lengthen onto that leg. Shoulders are staying soft and away from the ears here. Maybe your bind extends down the leg further to the ankle or the toes. And then I would like to offer a flow here. So taking that right hand onto the right leg, you have some options, either the ankle, the toes, the inside of your arch, or if you're really particularly bendy, you can lay that right forearm onto the inside of that right leg. Your choice, lots of options here, even a strap. I'm going to grab the inside of my arch with my right hand. And I'm gonna square my body over that right leg as I reach with that left arm. Taking a big inhale as you open up, drawing a rainbow because we need color today. Imagine that rainbow and sun shining on your face as you turn the torso away from that right leg. One more big inhale. And then exhale, turning your torso back towards that right leg, lengthening those left fingertips forward. Let's do a few more rounds with the rhythm of your breath. As we inhale, we lengthen, drawing this amazing rainbow. And when you're ready on an exhale, bringing your torso back over that right leg. Lengthening the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. All right, yogis, we're gonna do this one more time, and I'm gonna offer you an option as we close this rainbow back down. We're gonna exhale. We're gonna think about maybe bringing that left arm now over the right, torso square over that leg. Maybe you take a bind on the outside of that right leg or the outside of that right foot, and then bend at the elbows, pulling your heart down towards that right leg and noticing how much more space you have now. And breathe and soften. And then slowly inhale, walking yourself upright. Feel the length and through the spine and the shoulders release. And we're gonna go ahead and try that on the other side. So we'll draw that left leg long, toes nice and flexed as the right foot comes to the inside of that left leg. Maybe you bump up and find that support even and balanced on the sit bones. And then anchoring those hips as we turn your torso over that left leg as those toes are nice and flexed, and we lift through the heart here. And then exhale, lead with that heart and that throat, lifting the chin. Maybe looking forward into the future for brighter, more positive days, because it's coming. And we breathe and we soften over the leg, taking time for ourselves, taking in the breath. Walking your bind to wherever you can reach without your shoulders rolling forward, keeping them soft. And then when you're ready, think about that left hand connecting to the left leg. And again, either the top of the shin, the ankle, the inside of the foot, the toes, maybe lay on the inside of that left leg, your choice. Again, I'm going to take a bind on the inside of my arch with that left hand, and I'll reach with the right fingertips. Breathe, feel the connection, the lengthening all the way from that low back, and inhale, open up and draw that glorious rainbow again, bringing that hand back to the right side of your body. And on an exhale, we release and just settle into the pose here. Inhale, we'll reach the arm up overhead, and exhale, we close down, protecting ourselves, bringing that torso back to the leg. Keep working with the rhythm of your breath here. Those of you who know me in class know that I say it's always something very strong and wise to do to protect your own heart, to fill up your own cup. That's exactly what we're doing for ourselves here today. And the next time you're down, if you want to crisscross that right arm over the left, and then take that bind and pull that heart in. Really feel the length of that left leg. The release maybe in that low back and then the hips, and we breathe. One more round. As we inhale, walking ourselves right back up that leg. lengthening the legs long. And just notice the difference of how the back feels now and how the legs feel, and maybe where your energy is. We'll inhale those arms up overhead. And in the same concept, think about leading with the heart and the throat as we exhale, reach through, taking a bind either onto the legs or the ankles or the feet, and see if we can pull those shoulders down and away from our ears as we lift through the chin. And then exhale, pulling our heart forward. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. Let's keep our heads nice and neutral, chin slightly lifted. And then slowly we'll inhale, walking ourselves back up nice and slow. And then we'll go ahead and crisscross at the feet, rocking on to hands and knees. Think about stacking those joints so we have that protection and strength through our pose. Knees are nice and hip distance apart, but the inside of our hips, so about the width of 2 fists. Releasing the tops of your feet if you can. And then let's find a nice flowy cat-cow here. So let's exhale back towards our heels, lengthening gently through the arms. And on an inhale, we're just going to soften through the elbows as we scoop our hearts forward, pressing the earth away, coming into your cow. Exhale, lifting the spine to the sky, and then pressing back towards those heels. Inhale, scoop with bent elbows, lifting and pushing the earth away. Exhale, rounding the spine and pressing back to your heels. Certainly feel free to hold a posture in any place that it feels good to do so in finding full rounds of breath. Let's do one more from wherever you are. And then we'll widen the knees just slightly here. So we're in a very active child's pose. We're going to reach our arms forward. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, sink the heart, maybe the forehead, connecting to the earth, and release. So to wake up our back a little bit, we're going to come into a rolling chaturanga. So we're staying on the knees, and as we inhale, our chin's going to stay tucked as we roll that spine to the sky. Your feet can stay connected or separated. And then we'll lift the chin. Now we have those shoulders over the wrists, and we'll exhale, just lower gently, pulling those elbows in about halfway, and then scoop the heart forward, releasing the feet wide. Pulling those shoulders back and just feeling the action of the back going in the opposite direction. Take a big inhale and pull the belly into the spine, push the earth away and round back as you connect those toes back into that child's pose. Continue to work with the rhythm of your breath. Some options are to keep those toes connected if your low back is cranky. If you want to skip the chaturanga, you certainly could feel free to do so. Scooping that heart forward, our bellies are trying to stay off the earth. And exhale, pulling back. If this still is not available, you can always come back into those very flowy cat-cows through table. And then we'll all meet back in the child's pose. On an inhale, we're going to lift our torsos, walking off of the mat with our hands, really extending to the right, reaching those left fingertips as far forward as you can, and then sinking that left side body down towards the earth, maybe even stacking left hand on top of right. Breathing into that left armpit and spreading those ribs with each inhale. Nice. So on an inhale, let's go ahead and lift the body, walking through center. As we walk to the left side of the mat, really reaching those right fingertips forward, and then releasing that right side body down to the earth. Maybe crossing right hand on top of left. Feeling the stretch through the whole right side body here. And then your next inhale, we'll walk through to center. We're going to lift up with our arms extended long, tucking our toes, coming through to a plank pose. And then exhaling into your downward facing dog. Pedaling those heels. Fingers are nice and wide as you press into the thumb and index finger. Maybe sending the knees bent to the left and the right, wagging your tail. And then start to walk, tippy-toe your feet to about the halfway point into the mat. Settle your heels down and walk your fingers back to the toes, bending at the knees, releasing the torso, releasing the head, and just shake that head yes and no, releasing the weight of the head, maybe releasing the arms and hanging like a rag doll. Staying right here is beautiful. If you would like, you can grab at the opposite elbows. Maybe you even sway the upper body side to side. And then coming back to center, releasing the bind if you had one. And we're going to roll up, pushing the feet into the earth, one vertebrae at a time. Go nice and slow. Take your time and explore how the body feels as we rise. And then once the shoulders are all the way up over the hips, we'll reach those arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Notice the breath. Notice your feet anchored deep into the earth. Notice your heart space. We're going to go ahead and come to the top of the mat. Toes can touch. Maybe you even separate the heels just slightly, or maybe heels and toes are separated so you have a little bit more balance. Maybe you lift the toes and rock back and forth just to feel the anchor of all four sides of your feet. And we're going to inhale, arms come up overhead, and we're going to interlace those fingers. Maybe we make a pointer finger, and then plug, exhale our shoulders into our body. Maybe those elbows just slightly soften. We connect the belly to the spine as we take an inhale. And exhale, we side bend, really pressing down into our feet and really pulling that belly in. Breathing on the side of the ribs that are pressing outward. Nice. On an inhale, we'll go ahead and we'll reach high. And exhale, come over to the other side. Still anchoring our feet, still breathing through the side ribs. On an inhale, we'll reach high. Connecting the palms, unlacing the fingers, and exhale, bringing those palms behind our neck, pulling those elbows back and inward, feeling the stretch in the back sides of our arms here. Feeling the belly engaged and feeling the strength all the way from the earth, taking in the energy. Inhale, we'll press the palms to the sky. And exhale, we're going to open with strong arms, shoulders pulling back to the spine. Maybe you gaze up, opening through the heart. Inhale, we're going to reach. And exhale, let's hinge, forward fold.
Maybe you shake that head out again, releasing anything that seems to be building that doesn't serve us. Just let it go. Making a connection to the earth or the shins, we'll lift halfway, we'll roll those shoulders back. And then we'll fold with soft knees and we'll scoop the earth all the way up. Connect those fingers and exhale, we will side bend. Inhale through center. And exhale, side bend to the other side. Inhale, reach. Maybe your gaze is available. And then exhale, connect the palms behind the head. Inhale, reach. And open up through the heart. Inhale, we reach high to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward. Lifting halfway. Let's make a connection here. Pushing our hearts towards each other, finding softness. And fold. Bend at the knees. Let's scoop the earth all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. So let's shake it out. So I think that even though we are remote, I think one of the things that we are trying to connect with here is finding balance in our life. So let's think about balance and what that looks like to us through the posture of tree pose. So let's anchor into the left foot and then get soft on that right foot and dial out the toes and connect that heel inward. And even though you might be able to go into a full expression of a tree pose, maybe even up high, let's pause right here and just stay connected together into this tree prep. And then you can challenge yourself by keeping your eyes closed and noticing the wobble maybe. And invite that to be a part of the practice because life gives us wobbles. We have to breathe through them, come back to our connection and what makes us strong. So staying connected in your tree here, or maybe if you would like to lift your foot to the calf or above the knee, your choice. And let's see about maybe growing those branches and reaching and extending our love out to our friends and family. And then maybe we even sway those branches, waving a hello. Firing up that central nervous system, feeling alive. It's okay to feel whatever we're feeling. We'll slow the branches down, bring our hands back to heart center. And let's see if we can lift that knee up to the sky, or up to mid-body, I suppose. It's not totally the sky. And let's see if we can push it out. Feel the strength, lift in the leg, and then set it down. Shake out your other foot. Nice. Good job. So let's root into the other side. For me, it's my right side. I know we all get our lefts and our rights mixed up sometimes, and that's okay. We'll dial out the other toes, and we'll find that connection here. Think about staring into the distance, finding your drishti, or challenging yourselves to close your eyes and allow the wobble to occur. Trusting yourself, even in uncertain times. And then maybe growing your branches or taking your tree to the level that feels good for you, either leaving the toes connected, maybe to the calf or above the knee, your choice. Spring is upon us. We can imagine that we have all the birds around us, the sun shining down on our face. We're reaching for the sky while staying rooted and connected to the things and the values that matter the most to us. Maybe you sway your branches if that calls to you. And if you fall out of the pose, it's okay. We just say something kind to ourselves and we move on and we try again. It's no big deal. Nice. All right, yogis, let's try this. Let's pull that belly up underneath our ribs. Let's see if we can lift that knee up. Maybe you bring hands to heart center if that feels good, or you can bring them out for balance. And then let's kick that foot out. Woo. And then we release. Beautiful, hands to heart center. I would like to come into one of my favorite poses. I love to play with Malasana. So let's go ahead and bring our heels inward and our toes out a little bit. And we'll take a big inhale as we bring the breath all the way up from the belly up into the heart center. And on an exhale, we start to lower down, coming into your Buddha squat. Maybe you need a block or a low stool or a cushion underneath you if you need something to come to, or sliding down the wall is always beautiful. Let's think about those elbows and those knees connecting and just feeling the lift of the heart and the strength of all we just created. Maybe closing the eyes. And anytime you need to come down to the sit bones, please do. If you'd like to take it a step further, I would like to invite you to release that left hand down by the left foot on the same angle that your toes are going, and then maybe open up that right arm to the sky. Maybe your gaze even follows that right hand, and breathe into the back. Exhale, bring it down. That right hand is going to come inside of that right foot as we inhale, left fingertips to the sky. You can always use your arm and your leg as a connection for balance. And exhale, release it down, coming down to your sit bones and coming right into your boat pose. Just for a moment, just to show you that you are capable of anything that you set your mind to. And exhale, bringing the soles of the feet down to the earth. And we're going to roll down nice and slow, taking it one vertebrae at a time, engaging that belly. And then when we get there, we can go ahead and hug those knees into chest and give yourself a beautiful hug. Maybe rocking side to side will feel good to you. Maybe you bring hands onto knees and draw circles in the air. And if you are making those circles, let's go in the opposite direction so you feel that balance. All right, yogis, I invite you to plant the soles of the feet close-ish to your sit bones. And come into what you would be your normal bridge prep. So maybe you can actually touch the heels. Now I invite you to actually remove your feet from your sit bones about the length of your foot. So they're a little bit wider here, and then we're gonna lift the toes and just plant the heels. And let's think about that belly pushing into that low back, and that low back is pressing into the earth as we're trying to dent the ground below us. And then we're going to slightly walk those shoulders underneath of us as our palms face up and our arms are close to our bodies. And we're going to press into those heels. Now, if you have a plantar fasciitis issue going on, walk your feet back closer to your sit bones and anchor your entire foot down to the earth. On an inhale, we're going to think about those knees staying connected, not necessarily touching, but not splaying out either, maybe about the width of two hands. And we're going to press into the heels. We're going to lift through the thighs, bringing ourselves up into a bridge pose. And on our exhale, we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, we're going to press up. And exhale, rolling down. So continue to flow with the rhythm of your breath. I'll give you some options to make it more interesting for you. You can bend at the elbows, fingers pointing up, kind of like those robot arms, which are always fun. You can press the backs of the arms, and it helps to lift your body even more, pulling those shoulders inward. Or if you would like to move a little bit more, you can think about those arms coming up and overhead as you lift the torso up towards the sky. And exhale as you roll down those vertebrae, you bring those arms back down by your sides. Let's do a couple more of these. And as you bring your spine back down to the earth, go ahead and hug those knees back into chest and rolling those feet for your ankles in both directions. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet back to the earth, and we'll connect the soles of the feet coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. So we were here before, but now we're reclined. We'll allow those knees to drop towards the edges of the mat. And we think about just gently walking those shoulders underneath the body. We find the breath. And we allow the ease of the breath to go into the hip sockets and soften. So I look at this pose as being a super vulnerable pose. And I invite you that through these vulnerable times to come to the breath, whether we're doing a yoga pose or whether we need to find that space of breath in vulnerable times away from the mat, utilizing the techniques and the tools that we have gained through our yoga practice to pause and to take the breath, feeling contentment with only the things that we are in control with. And feeling settled to just be with wherever it is that we end up landing. In your next inhale, we'll go ahead and draw those knees towards each other. Let's roll up into a nice tight ball, maybe bringing your forehead to your knees if that feels good. Squeeze everything, round the toes or squeeze the toes, maybe make fists. Squeeze between the eyes, clench the teeth, squeeze the glutes, tighten everything up that you possibly can. Notice how tense this feels to breathe, how challenging it is to hold. Take one more big inhale. And exhale, let it go, coming into your Shavasana. Noticing how much more free you are to breathe. To feel the support of the earth. To wiggle, to settle in. Let's take a big inhale right here. And let it go. Softening from the toes. Tops of the feet, releasing the ankles. Allow each leg to feel heavy. Allow the hips to disengage from feeling any kind of support. So no more flexed glutes, no more action of doing. Just allow the hips to feel soft and heavy. Release the belly. Let it puddle to the ground. Release through the torso, coming back to the spontaneous breath. Allow the heart to feel open and accepting. Reach out through our heart to feel comfort, to maintain connections. Soften through the shoulders. Allow the arms to feel heavy, as if they're melting into the ground. Fingers are soft. Allow the palms to feel like there's a weight sitting on them. Soften through the throat. Maybe part the teeth. Perhaps the tongue rests away from the roof of your mouth. Allow the eyes to sink in. Softening the jaw. Softening the inner ear. Focusing on that third eye space between the brows. See if you can release some of the worry. And imagine a bright white energy swirling around the crown of your head, sheltering and adding comfort. Please feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you have time to. For us here, our time is coming to an end. So rolling on to your favorite side, taking in the breath. Whenever you're ready. Feeling the comfort and the shelter of the body around the heart. And when you're ready, you can press up gently into a seated posture. I invite you to keep the eyes closed if that feels comfortable to do so, or keep the gaze soft. We'll reach those arms up overhead, take a big inhale. And exhale, we're going to twist to the right, connecting that left hand onto your right knee. Take another full round of breath right here. We'll inhale through center, reaching those arms up high. And exhale, twisting to your left, connecting that right hand to your left knee. Full breath. And we'll inhale through center. We'll reach those arms up overhead. We'll grab all that positive energy and relaxation. We'll pull it down into our heart center. I'm always so grateful for the opportunity to lend the tools that I have so that I can guide you, give you opportunity to find your breath, to hold space. I'm also grateful for the teacher in you to guide me so that I too can continue to grow. Breathe light into your day, connect with your loved ones, find space for yourself, maybe doing something you don't normally do. Channel inward and know that this too shall pass. I honor you, I honor your world, I honor your light. I bow into that. Namaste.